Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So when someone says, be a man, what does that mean? My father used to say that shit to me all the time. I never knew what he was talking about. In order for someone to know what you're talking about when you say that, you have to be able to display a certain type of behavior, project a certain type of image, to be a certain type of person. Because even little kids, even beta males, even any kind of male human is going to have the parts that make him a man. They're going to have the XY chromosome and they're going to have a set of nuts. But that's not what we're talking about when we say be a man. When someone says be a man, they don't mean, look down and make sure that you still have your testicles as if they would have magically disappeared. That's not what that means, obviously, right? It means, be tough. Have a certain level of fortitude. Have a certain amount of heart. I mean, that's what kind of that goes down to. Be a man. It means toughen up. Stop being a punk. So that's where we start with manhood. You want to be a man. It's a big topic these days for young guys looking to be a man. Be tough. Stop being so soft and weak. Stop being so sensitive about shit. Every time that you start acting soft and weak, some old school motherfucker like me, or like my dad, my dad was big on telling people this. Anytime you feel soft and weak about any topic that you start getting feelings on, you get triggered on anything, could be politics, could be anything at all, they're just going to say, be a man. And what they're saying is toughen up. But obviously there's more to it than just being tough. You could be a real tough son of a bitch and still be less of a man, because it's also about how you treat other people. I believe that being a man goes back to, tribalism. It's something, we're talking about roles of our species. You can see this in other animals as well, and male animals have a certain role, and humans are particularly larger, male humans are particularly larger than female humans. You know the biology, I don't have to go through it all. So we have a certain role. Of course, with society and how evolution has gone on, and nerds and beta males and pussies, all that kind of shit, they've seemed to give an avenue, create an area to hang out so soft motherfuckers could go and be safe from the others, who are busy being men. That you can be weak. You can be an incredibly weak beta male and survive perfectly well in this society. I mean, you can be, some of our leaders are this way. Look at people like Zuckerberg, these guys are billionaires. People dream of being like that. Look at him as being their idol. And he's just some beta, some little weak motherfucker. You're gonna want to go camping and a bear rolls up on you and Mark Zuckerberg is your is your camping buddy, is your trail buddy? You think he's gonna be able to do anything, have any good ideas? No, you want someone like me. You want somebody who's been camping. So how you treat other people is really the second thing that I wanted to get to, and it's important to be able to treat other people as a leader. And what does that mean, though? It means that you have a certain amount of care for everybody around you, that you're the type of guy that will help an old lady cross the street. That's what a man does. A kid won't even notice that old lady doesn't need to cross the street. And there's adult children out there. I know guys that are older than me. I'm 49. I know guys that are in their 50s that are walking children. They're adult children. Spending their day making fart jokes and acting like 16-year-olds. And they have yet to grow up. And some of these people are very successful. So that's why I think being a man is a choice, but you have to kind of know how to do it. Treating others with a certain amount of respect that you expect. The golden rule is what men follow. And a weak motherfucker is going around stepping on toes, A weak motherfucker is the type that pushes you, knocks through you. A man holds the door open for as many people as necessary. You know, a man knows that he has the ability to kill, but uses restraint and doesn't. A man is able to forgive behavior of children. You know, we see children acting out. You see your kids, one hit the other. Kids can be so mean. You see some of the stuff they do to each other. I was at a buddy, I don't have kids, but I was at a buddy of mine's house the other day. He has 5 teenage boys. Oh my God, some of these kids are so mean to each other. You don't kill them for it. You may correct their behavior. A man can do that without having to be abusive. A man can control their emotions. Women, sometimes, I don't want to put down women because there's very strong women. My mother is very strong. But women have been known to be more emotional. Children have been known to be more emotional. Beta males, weak pussy bitch motherfuckers. If you're not understanding what beta male is, I'll put it to you for the streets. It's kind of the same thing. They can be very emotional about stuff. Like their life is a little roller coaster ride. They're over everything. They're just like, oh no. And a man, a leader, somebody who's tough, doesn't have to fall into those traps. Can see that there's no way to make decisions of survival through weakness. The only way you can make successful decisions of your own survival is through a place of calm and a place of power. To be able to observe a scenario properly. If you're lost in the scenario, you're not able to take a step back. You hear that term, take a step back. To be able to be the man in any scenario, the leader, you're able to be the observer and not so lost in the experiencer. That doesn't mean that you become a robot. You can still have fun. You can still enjoy experiences with others. But no matter what you're doing, whether you're on a roller coaster with your friends, camping with your buddies, it doesn't matter what you're doing, at the movies, doesn't matter what you're doing, where you are, in any scenario, period, you always have the ability and the foresight and to be scanning, for things. You're walking down the street. Here's an example. You're walking down the street with your old lady. She may be just talking to you about what she's talking about, and you're having a great time. You're walking hand in hand. You're in a great setting. Say you're out at the park. It's beautiful. Well, as the man who is able to look out for others and to be tough, you can be scanning everything around. Now, you can still enjoy the flowers and the blue sky and the birds and the bees and the company of your old lady and all that. But on top of that, you have an extra responsibility of keeping her safe, of detecting threats before they happen, being ready for any kind of scenario. If you're walking through the park and a jogger happens to get mugged by a homeless person, guess what you're doing as the man? You're not going to whip out your cell phone and sit there and film it. That's what a child would do. You're going to go help that motherfucker. You're going to go help that person. Because that's what a man would do. You always do the right thing. Regardless of your own safety, regardless of your own feelings, regardless of what you have going on, regardless of what time it is or what you wanted to do, you're going to do the right thing always, no matter what. These are all just aspects of manhood that I think, that I've learned and that I think are what make up the ideal man, what we should strive for. Everybody has weaknesses, and we may not always be able to be these things 100% of the time, but there's nothing wrong with striving for that. If you find failures, it's good to identify that and be like, okay, well, that was a scenario right there that I ran from or didn't meet to its fullest, and I probably could have been this way, that way, or this way, and then learn from that. And that's what a man does. And then the next time that happens, you can jump into action and you can show more leadership skills, more fortitude, more heart, more whatever than you did the last time when you failed. Children, weak motherfuckers, losers, they don't recognize, narcissists, these types, they don't recognize their own behavior. They're selfish. A man isn't selfish. A man goes to work, supports his family. Maybe if he's lucky, has a couple bucks at the end of the week to buy himself something. And will do this forever until he dies. Because it's the right thing to fucking do. And a man always does what's right. It's not about how you look. A lot of guys have videos, and I watch a lot of YouTube stuff when I'm bored during my lunch period or at night sometimes before I go to bed. And there's a lot of videos on masculinity and trying to teach young people how to be men. And there's this idea that all you have to do is go to the gym a lot and grow out a nice hipster beard and maybe get a couple tattoos and you're a man. But I'm going to tell you right now, just on a side note, I hate to go into on a tangent because it might lose my train of thought, but if you got tattoos of SpongeBob and bullshit like that, you ain't no motherfucking man. Grown adult men don't get that kind of bullshit tattooed on them. I come from an era when you got tattoos that meant something. It meant something. You thought about it for weeks, months, years. Oh, great idea. Ding, light bulb. Let me go get that shit. Even if you pulled Flash off the wall, it still was going to mean something. I saw a guy, the only reason why it made me think, I saw a guy at the gym the other day, and he's yoked, big bodybuilder, and he's covered in Pokemon and stuff like that. The guy was, I don't know how old he was, young guy. And I could tell by the way he cruised around that he really thought that he was something else, that he was dominant alpha male material. Check me out. But those tattoos, brother, what fucking meaning is that going to have to you when you're my age? I've had some of my tattoos longer than some of you guys have been alive, and they still have wonderful meaning to me. I still love these fucking artworks, no matter how blurry they get, how many times I have to get them redone. What's the fucking Pokemon shit gonna have? Anyways, I talked about this long enough. Being a man is simple, but you have to meet the challenge. You have to make the choice to do it. And it's not always fun. Being a man isn't about fun. And when you get it, you'll realize that life isn't about fun, and that doesn't matter if it's fun or not. It's not the point of it. Thanks for watching.